What is up, Holy Grit fam? How are you today?
Hello.
Woo! 6 times the charm.
Please.
Been
Y'all,
waiting.
Josh was like trying to record me as I was yawning and as he was rubbing his mustache. I don't know what all he was doing. That's weird. Mustache rubbing on the microphone. I don't know what he's got going on. All I know is that I'm ready to get this thing going.
Are you?
Yeah,
You sure about that?
I'm positive.
Listen, Mom's ADD is in full force right now. We've literally hit record on this like 10 times.
Exaggeration.
Been here 45 minutes.
Exaggeration.
I'm probably getting close by now. Might be a little bit of exaggeration, but it ain't far off.
Joshua.
We've been sitting in this room for probably 30 minutes.
See? Exaggeration.
Okay. All right. Anyways.
Anyway, happy Saturday.
Saturday.
And it's a good day. You've been in Texas.
I have been in Texas.
Me, I've had nothing going on this week. I've been in bed more than I've been out of bed.
Yeah, you kept Maddie Kate, though.
I did. Well, I mean, like Zoe probably kept her more than I kept her.
Fair enough.
Yeah. So.
Texas was good. We stayed in Grapevine at the Great Wolf Lodge.
I love that area. Mm-hmm.
I will never stay at the Great Wolf Lodge again. At least not in the summertime. It's a really nice hotel. It's got a really nice water park in it. It's got restaurants and everything. Everything's super expensive in there. But do not recommend going. Unless you're taking kids. I guess it's a little different. We didn't take any kids. But there was 6,000 kids there. There was like 4 summer camps going on. There was cheerleading competitions. There was kids everywhere. It was...
It's a great family location.
Oh, for sure. But it was just overrun with kids. Like, I had kids running into me, and one almost spilt an ice cream because I ate an ice cream. They had the good ice cream, the soft serve with the flavor that swirled into it. Oh, so good. And he about spilled my ice cream, and I was not going to be a happy camper if it happened. But the conference that I was at was really good. A lot of really neat stuff going on in the school resource officer world. So it was a lot of fun. But then we had a lot of fun outside of the conference, too. Went to Fort Worth and went down to the stockyards and watched the Longhorns come in. Walked down Main Street, and we went to a steakhouse down there, Cattleman's. Highly recommend.
You know, when I was little, I used to live in Fort Worth.
You did?
Yeah.
Huh.
You said you actually did not realize that because you thought it was Galveston.
Considering this is the 6th time we've started recording this, I've heard this story about 6 times now.
Joshua, stop with the exaggerations. But I did.
I wish I could say I was exaggerating.
Joan and Sam, when Pops was in seminary, we lived in Fort Worth, Texas.
I didn't know that until recently.
Yeah. But I like Fort Worth, and we still have a lot of Creed family down in that area of Texas.
I'm not a fan of Dallas, really, which we didn't hang out in Dallas, but I've been to...
They had that whole cowboy team and stuff like that, so, yeah.
But we didn't spend a lot of time in Dallas. But Grapevine, downtown Grapevine is really cute. Just kind of a cute little, reminds you just back in time. Mm-hmm. Got little shops and different restaurants and stuff. It was really cool.
And I've spent a lot of time in that area just working in my career because both of my former offices was there and my headquarters now is down there. But I've never really spent any time downtown Grapevine. So I'm looking forward to doing that next time I go. It's really cute.
I mean, it is a nice little downtown area. But I still think Fort Worth, the Stockyard area, was our favorite. Because it's just, I don't know, it just has a feel about it. And it's just, I don't know, I enjoy it. But yeah, Cattleman's Steakhouse, if you ever get a chance to go, best steak I ever had probably. Or one of the best anyways.
Yeah.
Really good food.
I don't know what I'd eat if I was there. Guess baked potato salad.
You like filet mignon?
No, I don't.
Since when?
Never in life?
That's a lie.
Excuse me, how often have you ever seen me eat steak?
3 times, and it's been filet mignon every time.
And did I even eat the whole thing?
That I don't remember.
I probably tasted filet mignon, and I probably said to myself, if I had to have a steak, it'd have to be a filet mignon. But I don't eat steak. I don't go to a steak and order restaurants, and I mean, I don't go to. Joshua, come on.
I'm here. I'm doing the thing. You're the one that's struggling today. All right. It's okay. It's gonna be okay.
It is gonna be okay.
Let's just go ahead and get into it.
I'm really actually very excited about this week.
Yeah.
You know, I wrote it, and I was so excited after I was doing this outline that I even called Pops and was like, Pops, I think I just wrote the most amazing outline ever. Like, it's something I'm so proud of to be able to go. And it's you know, it's just because it means a lot to me. You know, how many times have I sat, even during this podcast, over the, episode 19, 20, something like that we've done now, and I've talked about how if I couldn't sleep at night, I would lay down in bed and count my blessings. You know what? Mm-hmm. And what I've discovered this week is I am truly living in luxury. And I say that, and I say that's a bold statement to be able to say, because I'm not talking about I'm living in some mansion. I don't have some fancy yacht. I'm not driving some, what's a very expensive car? Bugatti. I'm not driving some Bugatti. I don't even know what that is. But, you know, even with the broken bones, the trauma, the pain, literally being hit by a semi, I am still alive. And I am still here. And sometimes that's a luxury that people just don't get.
Well, we have folks, whatever.
We have folks E.
Yeah.
See?
Folks equating luxury with lifestyle. But obviously being able to wake up, breathe, and tell a story, that's the kind of wealth the world can't define, right? So I'm a very wealthy man, and I don't mean like my bank account is thick, right, or whatever, but I have...
We know your bank account is not thick.
Right. I work in law enforcement. That's not even possible. But I have 2 beautiful children. I have a beautiful wife. I have a roof over my head. I have a good job. And I have a wonderful family. That itself is a wealthiness, right? But I have a feeling that we're going to be talking a little bit different wealth today. Am I right?
We are. We really are. Because I think sometimes we need to actually redefine the word blessing. You know, what is blessing? Like, what can blessing be, even at times?
Yeah.
Sure, we can have someone that blesses us with a monetary gift. You know, I've heard of people actually getting blessed enough to be able to get a vehicle. I've had people getting blessed for groceries. You know, people can get blessed with everything that's monetary. But sometimes a blessing is really not necessarily things that we often think about. So that's why I think this is going to be a great podcast today, to be able to talk about those things.
So after everything that you have gone through in your life,
it's been a few things.
Been a few things. What made you stop and say that I'm still blessed?
Well, because what I really had to realize, specifically in the past 2 weeks, so to speak, especially since, you know, going through that. But sometimes blessings aren't about what you have, but instead it's about what wasn't taken from you. Yeah, I want to say that again. You know, sometimes blessings aren't about what you have, but instead it's about what hasn't been taken from you. And I think that's pretty important.
I agree. So would you say that sometimes we forget what we've been given?
Often.
Yeah.
I think often we forget that. I think it's very easy to get into the why me mode. And we hear that a lot from every little thing. You know, every little thing is why me? Why did this happen to me? Why do I have to go through this? Why? And we go through struggles. Everyone goes through struggles. I don't care how wealthy you are, you're going to have struggles. It doesn't matter what type of Christian level you are, there are going to be struggles. But you have to be able to understand, what do you do with those and in those struggles? What do you do with that? I mean, people have common struggles. They go through loss and grieving and even chronic pain. There's loss of finances, broken relationships. There are people all over this world that are hurting right now. And they could easily turn into that why mode. But what happens if we flip it? What happens if we start saying and consider every single breath that we take as an actual luxury? What happens then? What if the fact that you're still living on this earth is actually an invitation for you to live louder, bolder, and stronger?
That's good. Well, Psalms 103:2, we find it here. It says, "Praise the Lord, my soul, and forget not all his benefits." Right? So, praise the Lord, but don't forget everything that he's done for you. You know, because he obviously, even through the struggle, and I feel like we've talked about suffering a lot on this podcast, and how to deal with it and how to overcome it and still be rejoiceful through it, right? But we still have to remember, like, there's a reason for it and there's benefit behind it. We may not always see the benefit, but there's always benefit behind it, right? We remember the hurt, but we forget the help.
Often,
right?
All the time. It's like anything that ever happens. I mean, how many times can you go through something in life and have all these wonderful praises, especially with us being on social media? I mean, let's be realistic. We hear people that'll be like, "Oh, good job, good job, good job," and then you have people that'll be like, "What are they talking about? These idiots," you know. And when you have those kind of things, what's the conversations that we remember?
I mean, obviously, we remember the negative comments.
We
a lot of times.
We do. A lot of times we let the negative comments overpower the good comments, you know. And people do that in everything. I know that those are things that a lot of marriages get broken up because of the same thing. People want to remember the bad times over the good times.
Yeah. Yeah. So, I can't talk. What do blessings really look like?
Well, I mean, is it really about ease or success?
I mean, I don't think so.
No, it can't be.
Yeah.
You know, not necessarily. A blessing isn't always about just because something's easy. Sometimes you have to be able to get to the grit to be able to get to the good.
Yeah.
You know, if you don't have that grit, how can you ever appreciate the good?
Yeah. I think true blessings often look like answered prayers, obviously, for one. Like, you know, a medical diagnosis that comes back good and well. That's a big blessing.
That's a huge blessing.
You know, having friends when they know that maybe you're struggling a little bit, and having a friend that calls and checks in on you, you know, or, you know, says, "Hey, I'm praying for you," or actually prays for you over the phone, whatever. I think waking up, I don't have a lot of pain, right? I'm still a young man, but I'm sure I'll get there one day. But waking up with less pain than you did yesterday, you know, and then obviously not giving up is a huge blessing too, you know, because it's so easy to give up. And I think that's what a lot of people do give up, but it's a big blessing when you just keep on pushing and fighting through that, whatever you're going through.
Right. Because, you know, y'all, sometimes your biggest blessing is actually just not quitting.
Yeah.
And that's what it comes down to so often in our lives is, you know, do you want to quit or do you want to keep up going?
Right.
You know, and it's like that quit or grit. That's cute. Quit or grit.
Quit or grit.
Yeah, quit or grit.
That could have been the title.
That could have been the title of this thing.
It still might be.
No, I don't think so.
Okay.
And the reason I say that is because you mentioned a while ago friends that check in on you. And I've been so blessed because I've had so many amazing friends call me, check on me, send me some gift cards for groceries or DoorDash kind of things. And those are blessings as well. They really are. But I had a friend this week from church. Her name is Sonia. And she called me. And we talked, we prayed, she was checking in on me. But then she kind of said, she's like, "Phaedra, but how are you really?" And not talking about the fact that my leg's in a cast, not talking about the fact that I've got whiplash, not talking about, you know, my spine injury. But instead she was asking me how I really was. You know, how are you spiritually? Because it's easy to be able to go, "Okay, God, why? Why did I have to go through this again? You know, why am I going to be spending 6 weeks with my leg in a cast again?" Yeah. You know, it's easy to do that. But I sat there and I told Sonia, I said, "You know what? I am actually living in the luxury of knowing I am blessed." And that's what those are the words that came out of my mouth when I talked to her.
Yeah.
And that's what led me into this topic today. Because even after I got off the phone with her, I kind of dawned on those words. I truly am living in the luxury of knowing I'm blessed. And I'm blessed because I am still here. I God is keeping me on this earth for a reason. And I am so blessed to be able to have these moments, to be able to pick up the phone and talk to my friends, to be able to pick up and see you, to be able to watch Maddie Kate continue to grow, to be able to see Zoe and Austin and so many other names of friends and family. I'm so excited about having that journey.
Yeah.
So sometimes we just have to think about those amazing blessings that we take for granted.
And it's easy to take those for granted, a lot of times, because we want to be woe is me and whine and cry about things. But really, what God has given us is, more than what we deserve, for sure, But I have a challenge for the listeners out here. All right, so grab a phone, grab a notebook, and we're going to do a grit list, right? So I want 5 blessings that you've earned through fire. Not the polished stuff, but I want the ones that nearly broke you. So, for example, God gave me peace after a diagnosis, right? My heart broke, but he held me together anyways. Or I got hit and I lived, right? Right. So those are some really good things. Obviously, that's definitely a blessing, because even though you got acquainted with a license plate,
still your favorite.
It is, but obviously you are here to tell the story and to bless others with it, right? And so I want you to write some blessings down, and I just post them up on your mirror in your bathroom. Post them somewhere that you can see them and just be like, you know what, these are things that I'm super thankful for, that I went through this struggle and now I get to enjoy this and know that I've come through it and know that I survived that, or whatever the case is, and just as a reminder. So put it on your mirror, put it on your dresser, put it on your nightstand, something where you'll see it and you can remember 5 blessings that you've earned through the fire.
And sometimes it's hard to be able to kind of come through that. Like, I had a friend from Cheatham County Court message me this week, and he's like, "You were hit by a semi?" I was like, "Yeah, that's what I do these days," And he said, "I am sitting here trying to figure out, are you the luckiest person I know or the most unlucky person I know?" And I was like, "Dude, I am alive, so obviously my luck is blessed."
See, that's the difference in people that I've noticed. Right, you either have optimist, is that right? Yeah, optimistic, pessimist, which are super negative, half glass full, half glass empty, or be like, no, the half full, or the glass is just halfway full, or halfway there, whatever you want to call it, just realist, So I guess that's your 3 type of people, and I don't know which one's the best. I mean, obviously a pessimist is, you don't want to be around those people. But sometimes the optimist, it's like, listen, bro, okay, I know life's good, but calm down a little. Right? I would probably classify myself more as a realist, I would say, if I had to guess anything. But sometimes I'm just like, some people, and I'm glad that they love life and they're living it to the fullest. I promise you I do. I'm not talking negatively about those people. Maybe I'm a little pessimistic. I don't know. Anyways, but you know who I'm talking about, though. It's like, oh, they gave me extra foam in my coffee this morning. Woo! Like, settle down. All right? It's going to be okay. Anyways, but that was funny. Like, well, are you the luckiest woman to be alive or the unluckiest woman? But you chose to be like, I'm lucky, bro.
I'm blessed, man. I am blessed.
Absolutely.
And that's the thing is, like, even throughout this entire situation, which, again, we've seen the video. We know that I should not be living on this earth. There was a divine intervention, and
it really was.
1,000,000% believe that. And anyone who has seen the video all says the same thing. They're like, whoa. Because sometimes it is still a struggle, though, to have to deal with it.
Yeah.
And I'm not trying to play anything light. This week has been hard. When your subconscious of your mind wants to take over. I literally woke up one day this week, and I woke up because I heard myself screaming. And I was having a nightmare. I was dreaming once again of seeing the semi-truck coming into my face. And I'm not saying that, the struggle is real. It's hard. It's not always easy to be able to come back up and to be able to feel that, because sometimes you don't have to feel blessed, but to know that you're still carrying blessings. So it doesn't mean. And so if you were still going through the battle and you're still going through the wreckage, no matter what the situation is, like Josh was naming off some things, maybe it's because of a medical diagnosis that you've just heard and it's hard, or even if it's knowing about grief and loss and hurting, just know that God has never forsaken you. God is still with you, and you are so, so, so loved.
Well, 2 Corinthians 4:8-9 says, "We are hard-pressed on every side, but not crushed, perplexed, but not in despair, persecuted, but not abandoned, struck down, but not destroyed." We always carry around in the body of death of Jesus, so the life of Jesus may also be revealed in our body. I took it a little further. I went to 11. But, and then Lamentations, where did I put that one?
And I love this one.
Lamentations, what was it? 3:22, 23? Where did I put it? Yep. "Because of the Lord's great love, we are not consumed, for his compassions never fail. There are new every morning." Yeah, his mercies are new every morning. Great is your faithfulness. Sorry, I can't read today.
Yeah, no. But isn't that a beautiful thought, though? You know, I've said over the years, even like doing impact panels, things like that, we can't change what happened yesterday. Nobody has a fancy time machine. We can't go back. We can't change our mistakes, our actions, our words, things like that happened yesterday. But what we can change is today.
Yeah.
And a lot of times that has to come from attitude. I know after my car wreck, I was very angry and I was bitter and I was getting to that point. But I had to choose. And it was a decision that, again, started in my brain. I had to choose to live that better life. I had to choose to look for the beauty in things. But eventually, those choices become part of your heart. Mm-hmm. And how you reflect them back into society is the biggest difference. You know, it's easy to sit and feel sorry for yourself. It's easy to say, you know, God, I'm a victim. I'm going to just, you know, stay a victim. And eventually you have to become a survivor.
Yeah. Like right now, I think of the Camp Mystic people. You know, it's such a sad situation down there. And I pray for, obviously, the families, you know, because their hearts are hurting. I also pray for the first responders. I seen a really powerful, as a deputy standing in the midst of all the rubble and just, you know, the mess that's down there. And, of course, he's just in tears and crying. It was a really powerful picture, you know. But even though right now we can't see what the blessing may be in that, right, there is a blessing that will come out of it. And what's something you have to remember, you know, even like with you, right, you didn't just survive to survive, right? Obviously, you survived because God's not done with you. And, you know, with the Camp Mystic, there was still several survivors out there, you know. And, I mean, as much as I hate it for the families that lost, you know, their loved ones, I mean, but they're in a better place than I'll be with the Lord, you know. And they're way better than not probably, they are better off than what we are here on earth, you know. And so...
And those little ones, I mean... I just can't. I saw a picture or a poster or something that these little girls were wearing like Camp Mystic shirts, and it showed them running to the arms of Jesus.
Yeah.
And I can't help but thinking about how some of them will never have to know a true struggle. Some of them will never have to know heartache and the hardships in this earth. But we're mourning, but they're in a much better place.
Yes. And so, I do hate it for all of that, though.
I can't even imagine.
You know, it would be. I mean, it's unfathomable. I can't even say it. It's terrible. I'll just put it that way. It is a terrible thing. And I would like to, at the end of this, pray, obviously, for those families, too. But, obviously, there's power in survival, right? And your life is a testimony. So, the ones that did survive are going to have a really cool testimony. You know, and the ones that did lose, they can still help other people too. You know, I know they're going to be hurting for a while, but eventually they'll be able to help somebody as well that's gone through a similar thing or lost someone or whatever. So even though bad has happened, there's always a blessing that comes out of it. And
sometimes you have to really think about how do you take your survival into a message?
Yeah.
You know, and I've heard pastors talk about take that test in your life and turn it into a testimony, or a mess and make it into a message, because there's someone else that's going through something that you've experienced or something else that you've gone through, and now you can be able to help show them and help guide them how to get through it.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what we're here to be on this earth is to called for. We're called to be able to be leaders and to be able to make an impact. And you do that to those around you. You know, we've been studying a lot in 1st and 2nd Timothy at church and talking about how we should be leaderships in our earth and how we should be parents and parental influences on younger Christians and how to be able to help mentor individuals. And that's the same thing by going through situations that we go through. I mean, I don't know who needs to hear a testimony about how I got hit by a semi, drug 15 feet, and how that's going to be able to turn into someone else's life. But I've seen the video, and I know that if you watch that video, you know there was a divine intervention because you can see it.
Yeah.
So somehow, some way, God's going to be able to use that.
Yeah.
I don't know how, but God will. And when the moment comes and the topic comes around, that's exactly what's going to happen.
You know, there's one thing we can't talk about, though.
What's that?
Zodiacs. Apparently we get.
I got the hit on those.
I guess it was. Yeah. We got
some 8 grams.
some 8 grams about talking about zodiacs because I don't even know why. Whatever.
I don't even know.
It was
the
funny.
topic, but we laughed about it.
We did. I laughed. I was sending her a text message like, "You're getting obliterated on YouTube right now." It was pretty funny because we obviously talk about faith and Christianity and Jesus and God, but as soon as we start we did, and it wasn't that we were even bashing it. It was just simply saying, "Hey, this is probably not the right thing to do," you know. And all of a sudden, that's not what that first one. It's like, calm down.
I was like, I wasn't comparing it to the Bible. I said it was
right.
It just reminded
and
me.
Maybe whoever it was heard it wrong. I don't know, but it was still. I was like, chill out, bruh.
Yeah.
We're not sitting here, Lord. Tell me what's going to happen tomorrow in my zodiac, okay? Or is that what it's called, zodiacs?
Well, your horoscopes.
Well, horoscopes. Tell me what's going to happen tomorrow. I don't even know. What's going to happen tomorrow in my horoscopes, Lord? Anyway, so we're not doing that, clearly, okay? It was funny. Sorry. I just brought it. It just came through my mind. It made me laugh.
You made fun of my ADHD mind.
Yeah, it happens. Anyways, where were we?
We were talking about power and survival.
That's right.
And using your life for testimony. And sometimes you just need to go back and be able to go, hey, you know what? The enemy tried to silence me with an impact.
Literally. Physically.
But instead, I'm going to be louder, I'm going to be stronger, and I'm going to be grittier.
That's right.
And I'm going to spread that message. And I'm going to keep telling people that I'm louder, I'm stronger, and I'm grittier because of it.
Well, I think, too, if you can realize that you have life and luxury, and I don't mean material items, but life and luxury from blessings from from the Lord. I mean, obviously, you're still here. You woke up breathing this morning, right? I don't think this message is just for trauma survivors.
No, it's not. It's not.
Right? I mean, it's really for somebody that's battling depression, anxiety, right? Those stuck in addiction, right? Parents that are just struggling, barely hanging on, right? Which that's a pretty common thing that we probably don't talk about near enough, right?
Right.
Parenthood is hard work. Being a father, being a mother is hard work. It's literally a job. I would even say more so for the mothers, right? It's a hard job. But this could be for survivors of loss, right? Somebody that's recently lost somebody.
Friends who just lost a baby.
Right.
And that's so hard.
Tough, very tough. But there's always blessings that come out of the bad things. And it's really true. We've seen it time and time and time again.
And sometimes it's hard. It's so hard to be living that blessed life when you're broken.
Yeah.
And I don't think that's often talked about enough, which I guess is why we're doing this podcast today, is because it's really hard because you can be broken and you can still be blessed. And it's hard to be able to see that. It's hard to be able to see that light at the end of the tunnel kind of thing, but it's there. And you can still people are tired. You can just emotionally, physically, spiritually become so tired, but you can still trust in God.
Yeah.
And I don't think people often think about things like that. It's hard to be in pain. And I'm not talking about just physical pain, but I'm talking about emotional. I'm talking about spiritual.
Yeah.
I'm talking about, and physical pain. But it's hard to be in pain and still know that you still have a purpose.
Yeah.
There is a reason that you are still here.
Yeah.
And that, my friend, is why you can look and read up Romans 8:28.
Well, let me just look it up here. I hadn't looked this one up yet.
Mm-hmm.
I'll get there.
I know, I should be looking up, but I was like, I just haven't. I'm like, I'm holding on and balancing over here.
Romans what?
8.
8:28.
Mm-hmm.
8:28, yeah. Almost there. Apologies, I hadn't looked this one up yet. And we know that in all things God works for the good of those who love him, who have all been called according to his purpose.
Isn't that great?
It is great.
That is some good stuff right there.
I do feel like we have been talking about suffering a lot lately.
I think we're seeing a lot of it in our world right now.
I mean, I think it's something that needs to be talked about. I just was thinking about it, though. A couple weeks ago, Caitlin and I talked about trials, find testing of your faith. I cannot talk clearly today. But testing of your faith and it builds perseverance, right? We talked about that. We talked about your crash, or not your crash. We talked about your other stuff. Would you quit suffering, please, for just a little bit? Good night. Sorry. But yes, in all things, God works for the good, right? You don't have to be whole to be holy. You just have to be willing. So, let's talk about count your one blessings, right? This week, I dare you to make your own luxury blessing list. Post it, write it, speak it, because what you've survived might be what saves someone else.
Yeah.
Right?
And you know what? And you should tag us on it, because we want to be able to celebrate your holy grit with you and to be able to help you get through that. Tag us. Let us know what your sufferings were, but you're on your luxury blessing list.
Yeah. Because there's so many blessings. I don't know, I'm a nature guy. I know you're not, but you know that I'm a nature guy.
And look, I'm trying to be nature today.
You got
Look
some
at me.
camo on,
Eva.
OD green. Well, it's nice.
Did it for you.
But I am a nature guy. And something when I'm getting super stressed or I'm overwhelmed or anxious or whatever the case is, something that I like to do is just go out and be in the nature, right? Go out in the woods and either sit or walk through or go fish or whatever the case is. And it just kind of quiets everything down for a little bit, But I forgot where I was even going. Where was I going with this?
You're a nature guy.
Mm-hmm.
You want to talk about my ADHD?
We're just struggling today.
I'm not struggling. I'm blessed. Didn't we just talk about that?
Yeah.
But your luxury blessing list is to be outside.
Yes, that's where I was going. Thank you. Sorry. Struggling today. It's going to be okay. That's all I have to say. What else can I rhyme with that? But yes, so go outside. Get some fresh air, right? That's where I was going. God has created all of this, right? The birds, the deer, the trees, the hills, the water. Go out and enjoy some sunshine. And just appreciate what God has done around here. Because the world and the media and everything is super hectic and super loud and super uncomfortable and super stressful. But go out and just get away and get quiet for a little bit. Like, even if you're not an outdoorsy person, go try it. Just go outside. It's hot. You're going to sweat. Bring some water. But go outside. Get some peace and quiet. Because I'm telling you, there's something about it. I don't know why, but there's something about it. If I need to get away for a minute and I go in the water and go fish, or I go walk nature trail somewhere or whatever, and it's quiet, and all I hear is the birds singing and chirping, I don't know, it just blesses me. I can't say that's going to do that for everybody, but it does me, right? Just because God created it, and I appreciate every single bit of it. And so, for you, obviously you're not much of a nature person, right?
I'm not. But there's other ways to be still.
Right.
And to be able to take those times to be able to focus.
Yeah.
And, sometimes maybe that's my blessing. Maybe the reason I have this stinking brace on my leg and I can't move around and go anything is because I need to be still. Maybe it's because right now my spiritual health needs me to be still and not run, go, because obviously right now I can't run and go at all. I can't even drive my vehicle. I have to depend on somebody else to be able to do it.
Yeah.
Zoe took me to the doctor this week. I thought we might die all over again. Actually, she didn't do so bad that day. Today,
not so good, huh?
Not so good. Not so good. I was pretty convinced that my 6 wheels were not even touching the ground at a couple of points.
Fair enough.
But, again, I am, but that's what you have to do. You have to be able to find a way to be still. And so, yes, my being still was not going out into nature, not listening to some deer or some birds or, get pooped on when a bird's flying over you. That's not me in nature. My nature right now is to maybe lay in that bed a couple extra hours a day, but to be able to focus, to be able to pray, to be able to reflect. Take it, whatever it is, wherever the moment in the situation is, it is to have time to focus on God.
Yeah.
And there's nothing wrong with being still. I actually told your wife that same thing this week. She was at the hotel, and I told her, I was like, you're not accustomed to that because you're a go, kids here, kids there,
let
do
me
this,
tell the
do
story
that.
real quick.
And I told her, I was like, just let God, let God.
So it was really funny. I think it was, so we flew to Texas on Sunday, which that was an experience in itself. Thank God we're still alive to tell that story. It might be a little dramatic, but not far off. So I can get into that some other time. But so we get to Texas finally. We were supposed to be there at 4. We didn't end up getting there until like 8 o'clock to the hotel. Anyways, and so went to a conference on Monday and had a good time. We did a few things that evening. And then Tuesday I went to the conference and I texted Caitlin. I don't know, it was like 9 or 10 o'clock that morning, that morning or whatever. And just said, hey, love you, whatever, And I didn't hear nothing back from her. I was like, oh, she's probably down at the pool or whatever. And about 2 o'clock I get a response back. And there's a dark room with the TV on. And she said, I'm in bed still. And I'm like, oh, did you lay down and take a nap? She says, no, I literally haven't been out of bed since you left this morning or whatever. And I was like, oh, dang. I said, that's awesome. I said, but she never does that.
Right.
She's
She
always
never,
on the
ever,
go,
ever.
Constantly. Even like when we have nothing to do, she finds something to do.
Like she's never still.
No.
And if and I've seen her do it here, I love it when she does it here, but if it's a matter of having nothing to do, she starts cleaning.
Yeah.
I love it when she does that.
But she never just sits still and enjoys herself. And so she was able to just chill and hang out and watch TV, take naps, whatever she decided to do. Like, she didn't even eat lunch that day. For real. She was like, no, I seriously have been out of the been out of the bed to use the restroom, and that's it. Like, that's the only time. And but so I get back at like 3:30, and she was still in bed, and I'm like, you bum, giving her a hard time. It was funny. Of course, then we got up and we moved around and did a few things that evening, but she actually got to rest, and it was nice.
Yeah.
But I was actually going to ask since we have 74% male audience, according to YouTube, let me ask you this, right? Kind of a side note, but talking about being still and, whatever. Do you think that it would be wrong, for example, if I say I'm stressed out, and I'm just using this example. I've never actually done this, but I've thought about doing this. For example, I say I'm stressed out, overwhelmed, whatever the case is. And obviously, men, we put a lot of... men are very hard on themselves. I'm not saying that women are not, but men are very hard on themselves, but we don't ever hardly show it, right? We're very hard on ourselves. But would you say that it's appropriate to take a weekend getaway by yourself? Like, say I wanted to go, I'm stressed, overwhelmed, and say I wanted to go to the mountains and go camp outside for a day or two, just by myself, take my Bible, and just listen to nothing but the quietness. Do you think there's anything wrong with that?
Well, you know how I feel about it, because I feel like you spend an awful lot of money to be homeless. When you're
Right.
doing all of I'm just like, Josh, why are you spending money to be homeless?
It's not even about the camping part of it. That's not what I'm getting at.
I know what you're saying. You're saying, is there wrong to be able to take time away to be able to do it?
From your family.
I don't think I myself, and I'm not saying that it would work for everyone, but I don't think there's anything wrong with that. I think sometimes you need it to reboot and to have that. As provided as, if your wife said the same thing, I need to go get away, and you didn't fuss and complain, and you took the kids, and you just did everything, and you tried to do her schedule for 48 hours or whatever. I don't know that I necessarily think there's anything wrong with that.
And this is not like a debate, not a debate between my wife and I promise you. It was just a thought because, like, sometimes I think you do need to just have a minute, and get away and, whatever the case is. Maybe you just need to go sit somewhere. And like I said, I'm into outdoorsy things, and not everybody is. But sometimes you just need a minute to go and have a moment for yourself. Mm-hmm. There's nothing wrong with that.
There's been many times that I've actually gotten in my car just to go for a drive because I just needed a break. Yeah. I needed a break from it. Everything that was happening in the house, the noise, the loudness, things like that, I needed that. And even by saying that, I'm probably going to get more hate grams this week. What should we call those? We need a gritty name for those. Our gritty hate grams. But
I don't know.
I think that it would depend on every relationship because every relationship is different, and not every relationship can be handled the same. And some people may not need that time alone, but actually maybe need some alone time with their spouse. Yeah. So that could be the situation too. That maybe it's a couples that need to be able to just go, drop the kids off at Mom and Papa's and just go.
Well, so this was really funny, and I don't know, Caitlin might kill me for telling the story, which I don't care. It's funny. So the room, because we didn't pay for this trip per se. The hotel was bought for or paid for. My conference, it was a work deal, and so my conference was paid for. My flight there was, I had to pay for Caitlin's flight, but like everything else was pretty much paid for. Anyways, and so they had the room said 2 adults and 2 kids, right? Obviously, we didn't take our kids with us because Caitlin and I haven't done a trip, just her and I, in a very long time. And since before Maddie Kate was born. And so as soon as we get there, it's got a huge water park and everything in it. And I was like, man, I really feel bad we didn't bring the kids. But at the same time, I was like, no, dang it. This is Caitlin and I's time. We're going to have time for ourselves, whatever. So I thumped my chest and woohoo. But there's 2 queen beds in the room. And so Caitlin and I cuddled for a second, and I was like, how mad would you be if I slept in this other bed? She said, not at all. So speaking of me, Mom, and Papa, that's exactly what we were like. I had my bed, and she had hers the whole week. But I think there's nothing wrong with that. All right, we're still spending time together. We're still right there next to each other watching TV and whatever else we were doing. But we had the beds to ourselves, and it was pretty awesome. So try it out, I don't know. Work for us, So, it was really funny, though. I was like, would you be mad if I slept in that other bed? And she was like, absolutely not. And I was like, yes.
And you probably had much better sleep.
Well, yeah. Because, it's, we're used to, we got a big queen bed or king bed, and our feet touch. That's about it, and so she has her side, I have my side, and, so she had her bed and I had my bed. It was pretty awesome. It was great. People probably think we're stupid for doing that, but we were comfortable.
Well, that's all that matters.
But Mama people, you get older and Mama people, they have their own bedrooms, So funny. Anyways, but I guess we'll have to wrap it up, huh?
Is it about that time?
It's about that time.
Well, then let's wrap it up.
So you have a prayer in this outline. Do you want me to read this prayer?
You don't have to read the prayer. It was just some things that I thought we should kind of topic. I normally don't put a prayer in there, but it was just some things that I just kind of wanted to think.
We'll do it and then
We'll
do it because it's pretty. We'll do it and then we'll pray for other stuff. So obviously the families for Camp Mystic we talked about, and they're dealing with that terrible stuff. Because it is terrible. And when I talked about there's going to be and there is going to be blessing, and I understand, and I'm not trying to make light of the situation, so don't think that, because it is terrible. But let's pray for them and just comfort and peace, and even just potential understanding, because I mean, could you imagine sending your kid to camp and then, you know what I mean? It was it's terrible. It really is terrible. Do you have any other prayer requests?
No, not that I can think of off the top of my head. But I think we just need to make sure we're just praying that we're always grateful.
Yeah.
And, no matter how hard things seem to be, and even though we're surrounded by a world that is just crazy, that it's okay to take that time to have that peace and be still.
Yeah. All right. Well, I'm going to do this little prayer, and then we'll pray for the other stuff too.
Appreciate that.
All right. So, Lord, thank you for the blessings we forget to count. Thank you for your life after the storm, the strength after the impact, and the purpose even in the pain. Open our eyes to luxury of our breath, our second chances, our still beating hearts. Let us see what we still have not just what we've lost, and give us the grit to live loud in our gratitude. Lord, we just pray for the families and the children and the first responders that are all dealing with the Camp Mystic and the terrible floods they've had down in Texas. Lord, we just pray for peace and comfort and healing and understanding and just comfort more than anything, Lord. Just be with them and just comfort them. Lord, we just pray for the world. The world is obviously got some evil things that are happening, Lord. But obviously, you have already won that battle, and you've already have the victory, Lord. Lord, just continue to work through us, Lord, and work through this podcast that we can reach people. And Lord, I still want to pray for Mom and her healing and her comfort, and with her leg and her back and different things, and even her nightmares that she's having. Lord, just bring her peace and comfort. And Lord, just continue to heal her and continue to work through her, Lord. And in your name we pray. Amen.
Amen. Amen.
So, luxury.
It's not about yachts. It's not about mansions.
It's very true. Just living in luxury. That's what we're doing. So, if this has blessed you or inspired you, I really do encourage you, though, to make a list of your blessings that you've earned through the fire and put them somewhere where you can see them. And you can be encouraged by that every single day, because it is easy to get caught up in the negativity that you have.
Over my kitchen table, in my kitchen, I have a picture hanging on my wall that says, God, I still remember the days that I pray, or the things that I prayed for that I have now.
Yeah.
And sometimes it's a matter of looking back and being able to reflect and to be able to remember what did you used to pray for that you've overcome, or the blessings that you have now that you prayed for, that God is there for you.
You want to know why I know you have that picture?
Why?
Because I hung it. I did. I hung it up there.
I remember you hanging.
I did.
It's the first thing I purchased for this house.
It sure was.
It's the very first thing that I bought for this house.
I think it says, I remember praying for what I have now, or something like that.
Something like that.
Yeah.
But I still remember the days that I prayed for what I have now.
Yeah, maybe that's what it was.
Is that what it is?
Yeah.
But it hit me, because I know that I prayed very long and hard for this home and to be able to get here and to get to this blessing. And I'm grateful for it.
And now you wish you lived back in Springfield, because we wouldn't be here all the time.
No. Love my blessings.
Just teasing.
Love my blessings.
Well, we hope this encouraged you. We hope you found it enjoyable and entertaining, even though our ADHD was strong today. Very strong today. Stronger than normal. But if you liked it, please like, subscribe, and share. Share with your friends. Leave us a comment. All that good stuff.
We love you, Holy Grit fam.
Take care.